Hello, welcome to another What I Eat in a Day video. I did my first one last week, so I'll link it down below or at the end of this video. But I know if you want to know more about me, you'll find the videos and watch them because that's what I do. These are kind of like progression videos, and even since last week, I feel such a difference. I feel like I look different. I just have so much more energy and everything. Yes, I'm wearing black, but the last 2 days I had different colors on, but I just didn't talk with all of you. But yeah, I feel really good, but I just wanted to put a little disclaimer here before we get into what I eat in a day. As always, I am not a medical professional. I am not here to tell you what I am doing is the right thing for you, that is a healthy thing to do. As always, I am only sharing my journey, and I go into a lot of detail about the whole diet culture and, you know, where I am with health and everything like that. But if you are somebody that, you know, feels like something is off, you're feeling dizzy, you have a lot of headaches, you know, all that kind of stuff, you're feeling very lethargic, tired and all of that, please see a medical professional. Get your blood work, get the testing and everything done, see where your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your sugars, anything else that needs to be tested. And you know, if you need medication to go on it to help you, please do that. That is the first thing you need to do to start make a change, is you got to take care of what your body needs at that moment. And sometimes it's medication, and then there will be people there to help you and guide you with whatever is the right thing to do for you. For me, I do have high blood pressure. Since I had it first diagnosed, my medication has cut in half. I've had all sorts of blood work and testing and everything done, and everything comes back normal, and I'm like, are you sure? Yes. But if I kept going the route that I was going and just kept getting bigger, everything would just deteriorate. So that was kind of like part of why I needed to make some changes and everything. So I just wanted to put that out there. So anyways, friends, this is what I ate in a day. Welcome to April in Ontario, where you get to experience all 4 seasons in one day, and we are starting off with the winter. I cannot believe it's snowing. But what better way to start your day off with a nice hot cup of coffee with some caramel macchiato, 0 sugar creamer, and I have my bubbas all ready to go to make sure that I get my water. And also I start my morning off with protein coffee, so it's about an hour and a half later. I usually use my black one in the mornings, and I put a scoop of ice, and then I add in cafe latte. Premier Protein is my favorite right now. It has caffeine in it, so it's extra coffee, and I feel like it's really like my second cup of coffee. But it has 30 grams of protein, which really helped me feel full and satisfied, and it only has 1 gram of sugar. I've actually gone out to my garage fridge to get more cold brew, because the last time I was at Costco, they were on sale 2 for $8.99, and that's a really great price in my opinion, so I stocked up. And in the future, you know, I might make my own cold brew, maybe, we'll see. There's all sorts of different flavors in that, but the Stoke cold brew works really well for me, and it's really simple. I just, you know, add this to my Premier Protein, and it really does set me up for a successful day. It is lunchtime, and I'm having a snacky lunch today because I'm at home and I don't have any leftovers. So I have about half of an English cucumber, and then I have cottage cheese with some red hot buffalo sauce. This is the cottage cheese that I am using, and I actually want to take a look at the different ones that are out there just to see if there's a higher protein level. And in the future, I will be blending this in my little food processor and probably adding in some ranch dip, or also adding a little bit of buffalo sauce, because I really do feel like it's a little bit of an indulgence and just adds a little bit more flavor. So I'm just going to dip the cucumbers in. And of course, I'm probably going to have to share a few with Hunter and Linus because they love cucumbers and carrots, and I just think this adds a little bit more to it than just plain old cottage cheese, and it's a lot more protein than just a vegetable dip. I'm having this little cheese stick that I got at Costco. I really do like them. And then I'm having this Too Good yogurt. In Canada, we don't have a lot of options for like a lower sugar, high protein. This is 2 grams of sugar and 8 grams of protein. I wish we had a lot more options, but this is what we have, and I know that this is a good combination. And then I'm also having some cashews. There's everything but the bagel seasoning on here. I don't normally have it, but I thought it was a nice little treat. And then I'm also working on my first bubba of the day, getting in my water. So I was able to enjoy lunch, and I just wanted to share it with you. There was still some cottage cheese left, and I'm still trying to figure out the portions and all of that. And since I was using it as a dip, you know, it's okay. I probably would have finished it all if the boys wouldn't have helped me with the cucumbers, but I really do like this in combination. And I think like blending it up would make it a lot more enjoyable, but I really do enjoy using the cottage cheese more as a vegetable dip on these snacky lunches. Today I needed an afternoon pick-me-up, so I got a grande blonde vanilla latte from Starbucks. I get non-fat milk. It was a triple shot of espresso, and then instead of just the regular vanilla syrup, I substituted it with the sugar-free vanilla syrup, and I also wanted to have something else with it. So in my purse, I had a Grenade protein bar, 21 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar. I'm not worried about the fat or the carbohydrates. I just wanted to have something to kind of keep me satisfied because I was feeling really hungry on this particular day, and this did the trick. It is now time for dinner, and I'm making herb seasoned stuffing mix because I'm cleaning out my pantry, and this sounded really good. So I had some celery and onions, and this is going to be our carb tonight instead of like potatoes. And I am serving it with pork tenderloin because I had this in my freezer. There was 2 in the package. I'll link the recipe down below that I was going to use, but I used it for the timings and how to sear it. So I'm just using a spice blend that I have from Costco and then searing it and then adding the barbecue sauce. So that's what I did. I seared it like 2 minutes per side, putting it into the 400-degree preheated oven for 20 to 30 minutes. So we had pasta the night before, and it was sausage, peppers, and penne. I measured out 8 ounces, so that was 2 ounces for the 3 of us, and then another 2 ounces for my son's dinner. And then I'm also going to do these green beans that I picked up on Monday that were on sale at Food Basics. So I sauteed the celery and the onions, and I added 2 cups of the chicken broth, and then I added the stuffing mix. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the bottom rack of the oven. I think it said 350 for 35 minutes, but I'm just going to put it into 400 right at the bottom, and I don't have to worry about it. So heating up the pasta. I have a little bit of olive oil and about a tablespoon of butter that I melted, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add the beans in here. It says that they're already washed and cleaned. I really don't care. If you want to wash them again, you can, but I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of water, and then I'm going to put the lid on for about 5 minutes. I actually learned this from some of my HelloFresh dinners on different ways to cook vegetables. So they've been kind of cooking and steaming for the last 5 minutes, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this Montreal steak size blend. I actually added a little bit too much because it really had a lot of bite to it, just because there is pepper in it. But I'm going to put the lid back on after I stir them, and then I'm just going to turn the heat off, put the lid on, and then let them sit. I did cook them a little bit longer just because I was trying to get everything timed perfectly, but you'll see them when I go to plate them up. And then according to the recipe, it told me what the internal temperature of the pork loin should be, and I reached that. I love pork tenderloin. It cooks up so quick and it's so juicy and flavorful. I also opened up some cranberries to go along with the stuffing. And as always, Hunter is supervising even though he's not in focus. There is the stuffing mixture. It did stick a little bit at the bottom, but that's okay. And this was the finished product. The pork tenderloin, the green beans, the stuffing, and the cranberries. I was looking forward to this all day. I enjoyed every bite of it, and this was the small salad plate, so it looks like it's a lot of food, but my husband had the other plate, and it looked a lot more food on this, even though he actually had more. So before we reflect back on my day, what I do, I write down what I eat, and I really started this process a while ago, and it was really just kind of eye-opening. I'm not counting calories or fat or protein and all that kind of stuff. I'm really just seeing what I'm eating in a day. You know, what days are harder than others, what days is a really great day, and just, you know, what were some days that were triggers for me. Maybe I didn't eat enough, maybe I ate too much, you know, was there something going on that day that it was a little bit more emotionally draining, and I was kind of like looking for something. And that's definitely been a lot of an internal search for the last little while. And honestly, just to share with all of you, this is something that's really been a year in the making. I'm just kind of starting to share it with you a little bit more, you know, talking to a lot of different people, getting guidance and help, but at the end of the day, I was the one that needed to make the changes and decide what is the proper thing to fuel my body and set me up for success. And as always, I'm hoping to want to, you know, have better options and all of that in my eating and all of that, but we'll just take it one day at a time. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. I really do find writing it down, sometimes it's just being accountable. Even if it's a bad day, you eat something, you have a binge, you get something through drive-through, write it down. Nobody needs to see it or know it. You're being accountable to yourself, and just say, you know what, I got this and I really didn't feel that great. did I like feeling like this? And maybe it will help you on that next time. So instead of going through and getting like, you know, something, you can get a water instead of a pop, or maybe instead of a medium fry, you can get a small fry. It all starts with small changes. And I still believe in that. If you start going gung-ho and say you're never going to eat fast food or pop or anything again, you are just setting yourself up for failure. But sometimes you have to make those changes because of what you're going through health-wise. So I did take some notes because this is what I ate yesterday. Breakfast, I always have a coffee in the morning. Is the sugar-free creamer the best thing? Probably not, but it's working for me right now, and we'll just see how things go. Breakfast is something that I have struggled with for years. I'm not a big breakfast eater. On the weekends, I usually like to have like a bigger breakfast one day because the weekends are usually slower. I've tried smoothie. I've tried like smoothie, like those cups that come, and getting the blender out and all of the stuff. And then I would try like granola and yogurt, and I don't know, like I'm never really hungry in the morning. And I saw a lot of people like talking about this like protein coffee. So I tried it. I use the Premier Protein. I live in Canada. We don't have all the funky flavors, but I honestly don't want like cookie dough and all that kind of stuff. I've used like chocolate, vanilla, and caramel, but that cafe latte, I was really excited when I saw it at Costco, and they have it at Walmart here in Canada. And the Premier Protein is pretty easy to find at Costco. They usually always have it, but I don't really like drinking the Premier Protein on its own. The Fairlife is a much nicer tasting protein drink in my opinion. There's another one, Alani, out there, but I don't think it has as much protein in it. But you have, if you're interested in it, you gotta play around. Maybe a protein powder is for you. But the thing I like about the cafe latte is because there's caffeine in it, it's coffee, it honestly feels like I'm having a second cup of coffee, and it has that extra caffeine, it has the 30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Like, to me, I'm good with it. Like, I'm okay with it. It keeps me satisfied usually until lunch. Some days I'll have like a couple of eggs, or sometimes I grab like a little mini like Cliff Bar or something. It's another 10 grams of protein depending on what I'm doing. But what I would do in the past is I would not eat breakfast, and then I would be starving, and then if I was out, I would go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and I would get a medium double and usually a cranberry orange muffin. And that is what I would have, and I would feel like crap because those muffins are big. There's a lot of calories, there's a lot of like, you know, carbohydrates and sugars and everything, and then a double. I was like, oh my goodness, like I was just setting myself up for failure. And then it was just kind of like, you know, and I'm like, this is what helps me. It keeps me satisfied. I have tried so many different things. So like I said, if you're trying to figure something out, just try a couple of things and try and find that fit for you. That's kind of a constant. Lunch, it was a pretty good lunch, but I know that it wasn't enough calories, I think, for myself. The cottage cheese was good, but it wasn't enough protein. And then I added the yogurt and the piece of cheese and the cucumbers. And that's the thing. Like, if you take 100 calories of cucumber, it's like a lot. It will fill your stomach up compared to 100 calories of chips or, you know, crackers or something. And like the cucumbers is going to fill you up and make you feel satisfied. And then you pair it with the protein. It's kind of a good balance. But I know in the past, like if I've had leftover chicken or something from dinner, using that as my main source of protein is always so much better. I really felt like there wasn't enough like substance to that lunch to keep me satisfied. And when I'm eating lunch at home, I usually watch TV because the dogs are with me, and then I just kind of like sit for like 10 minutes. I usually set a timer for my lunch, and then I get back to whatever I'm doing. And I'll have something to drink. I'm like looking on my phone, watching TV, and I'm like, okay, I'm full, I'm satisfied, and then I get on with the rest of my day. So I'm just like doing like walking right now with the dogs and everything. That's more of my plan and journey and all that. We'll get into that more as it comes. I'm just focusing on my day. So when it came time for the afternoon pick-me-up, I don't have this every day. Lots of times I'll have a coffee, but the Starbucks, I like espresso. I don't want like frappuccinos and all that kind of stuff. I just want like a nice cup of coffee. And it was a little bit chilly still in the afternoon, and sometimes I get Americanos, but I've been getting like a non-fat triple vanilla grande latte or whatever. I get the non-fat milk, and then I get the sugar-free syrup. It works for me. It's nice. It's like the coffee, it's the caffeine, it's everything that I need. And I really needed something else, and that's why I had the grenade bar in my purse. That's the second time I've bought that box from Costco. My husband really likes them, but I'm getting bored of them because it's just the same flavor. I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't buy like a whole box of one flavor. Same, like I have some Cliff Bars, but now what I do is if I'm at like Walmart has a lot of like single serve ones, and there's other like even the drugstore or the grocery stores will have like single ones that you can try. That's what I would recommend, is pick one up and try it and see if it works for you. But I knew immediately that I did not have enough calories from my lunch, and I really needed that pick-me-up. Sometimes I'm like feeling hungry and I'll have a drink and everything and I'm fine, but I knew like my stomach was like kind of growling, like I needed to have something else because it wasn't going to hold me over until dinner. Dinner, what can I say other than it was amazing? And some of you are like, but you had carbs and stuffing and all of that. Yeah, I did. And back in the old days, I would have had mashed potatoes, gravy, carrots, stuffing, all that, and probably made dessert and eaten all of it and felt like crap afterwards. And one of the things is, over the years, whenever it was getting time for dinner and I was counting calories, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have salad, I'm gonna grill some chicken breast, and I would have like a low fat, low carb dinner, and I'd be starving like a couple of hours later, and that's when you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so hungry, and you just eat crap, and it's that whole vicious diet cycle. So let me tell you my story. So I want to look forward to dinner. And you know, when I grew up and the way that my family is, we sit down and eat dinner. That's our thing, and it kind of like closes off the day. We're moving into our evening and whatever happens, because in the evening we really don't do a lot of eating or anything else with that. It really is like dinner is kind of like the, you know, there's a little bedtime snack and all of that here and there, but for the most part dinner is kind of like the end of the day. So the last time I did a what I eat in a day video, I had a Big Mac salad, and because my husband and I had it on the Saturday night, I think. And I really enjoyed it. It was very filling, it was very satisfying, but I also know on the weekends we usually eat like a bigger lunch and all that kind of stuff, and I was like kind of hungry later that night, but the next morning after having like a really low carb dinner, I was starving and I had to have something else. And then that night, because I remember it, it's one of those aha moments, and I always say everything happens for a reason. So we had leftovers for our son, and I had chili in the freezer, so I thought I took out a container of chili, and what I was going to do is I was going to have another low carb dinner. I was going to have the chili, I was going to have protein chips with it and like some sour cream and cheese and eat that, and it would be a really nice low carb dinner. Then when I opened up the container, it was spaghetti sauce, and the emotions that went through me, that this, oh my goodness, carbs are bad, you're going to gain weight, you're not supposed to eat them. And it was at that moment I'm like, yeah, I need to learn how to eat pasta in moderation, because this is part of a long-term something I can, you know, do for the rest of my life. It's not about, believe me, I tried doing zoodles, I've tried all the other pasta out there that's 0 carbs, I've tried like cauliflower rice. It's something that I did not like. Some people, you can do it, it fits you, congratulations. I couldn't. It did not work for me, and I said, well, I need to know what a portion is. I got out my scale, and this is what I find. I find with spaghetti, 2 ounces a serving, it's not enough for me. 3 ounces for spaghetti is what works for me. Like penne and all that, 2 ounces is fine, but spaghetti, because we didn't have garlic bread or salad, like we just had spaghetti that night. I measured out 6 ounces for my husband and I did the plates with the spaghetti sauce. I used those smaller plates. I ate every little bit of that pasta and I enjoyed every bite. I was full and satisfied the rest of the night. I wasn't looking for anything else. I didn't need anything else. I woke up the next day. I felt full, satisfied. I had my protein coffee. I was fine until lunch. And I remember like writing down what I ate like a long time ago and like really like observing and all of that. For me, I need protein and carbs at dinner. It really sets me up for success. Sometimes at lunch, if I eat too much of that, my energy is zapped, I'm feeling bloated, like I like more of a low carb. But for me, dinner, carbs and protein, even if we're doing a lot of stuff, like I feel energized and I can go and do all of that. And that's just the kind of the way that it works for me. And I was like, yeah, there's some nights where I'm gonna have a little bit more carbs than other nights, but I will tell you that pork tenderloin was delicious. I will link the recipe down below. And honestly, when it came time to make dinner, I'm like, I gotta get the mustard and the soy sauce and measure out all the spices. I said, screw that, I'm gonna get a spice blend out. But I used the recipe, like what time, like to sear it, how long, and the temperature and the internal temperature. Chef's kiss, it was delicious. The beans, oh, the stuffing, everything was delicious. I enjoyed every bite of it, and there wasn't an ounce of guilt. And the next day I'm satisfied, full, same thing. I'm fine. It's good. No guilt. And that's about learning how to have a healthy relationship with food. And before we close off, I'm going to tell you one thing that's so funny, and this was another aha moment. So you would have seen, like, I'll be sharing some of my grocery hauls and food preps and all that kind of stuff, and I share with you like my Walmart pickup order, and I made a boo-boo and I ordered potato chips, but I ordered the small bags. That's something I've been working on for the last little while. And the one day I'm like, I need to give up pop because I drink too much of it. It makes me feel bloated. I need to drink more water. So it had been over a week since I had a pop, and it was Saturday, hockey night in Canada. You know, the first intermission, we were getting everything cleaned up, getting everything ready for routine and all that, and then it was my time. And I said, I got my little white bowl out, I got like a mason jar glass, I put some ice in it, and I opened up a bag of ketchup chips. Yes, ketchup chips, that's a Canadian thing. So honestly, the Humpty Dumpty, like, or Old Dutch or whatever, ketchup chips are like my favorite. So I emptied the chips into the bowl, and I cracked open like a small can of Diet Pepsi. I poured it into the glass, and I took them and went and watched the hockey game. I remember picking up that first chip and eating it, and it just tasted so different. It was so good, like the salty, it was something I hadn't really had for like over a week. And then I took a sip of that Pepsi, and I was like, woo, this is fresh. And I finished it and I ate it. And you know what? The next day I was like, that was so enjoyable. I didn't have any guilt. I didn't feel like I needed 2 bags or I needed to drink more. Like, I just sat down and I enjoyed it. And you know, sometimes like you have that guilt or you just want that salty like craving and all of that. I guess that's like the addiction part of it. And I was like, that is something I could do for the rest of my life. Like, if I was able to enjoy that every once in a while. And then a couple of nights ago, there was more hockey on, and I had a Dr. Pepper Zero in the fridge. So I'm like, oh, like, this is gonna be nice. You know, we're watching hockey, and I got a big glass out and I put ice and I cracked that baby open and I poured it in, and I sat down and I had a couple of sips. I'm like, oh, this is fresh. This is like crisp and good. And then by like the 4th or 5th sip, it just didn't taste good, and I'm like, I don't need it. And I stopped. I didn't drink it. It wasn't that it was 0 calories. I know it was gonna bloat me and make me feel really like not that great, and I just let it go. And that's what happened last night. Like, when I sat down and I looked at my plate, I'm like, wow, this looks like a lot of food. And I'm like, no, it's a smaller thing. It's a portion. I enjoyed it, and my food tasted better. So I don't know. Like, sometimes it's like, is this really something that's sustainable? Is this something that's really going to help me? Only time will tell. I'm going to be increasing my, you know, exercise and trying to make more changes and all of that. I don't know. You know, we'll see where it goes. But right now, it's trying to have that healthier relationship with food. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to fuel my body. And as we get into the summer, there's going to be more salads and, you know, what kind of carbs can I have with it and everything like that. More like, you know, maybe better carbs, like brown rice. I don't know. I don't love brown rice, but I can eat it. But that's the thing. Like, but some nights I'm going to have a hamburger bun. Some nights I'm going to have a hot dog. Like, it's all about not eating this every night. And I think that was a really eye-opening experience. And it's so funny because I'm definitely feeling better, because like right now, when I get to a certain weight, it goes on my back, like that kind of hump in the back, and I can see it's different because my shirts are hanging down lower. If you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. Maybe for you it's your chest or your stomach or whatever. And I knew yesterday like my pants were looser because I was pulling them up, so I'm gonna have to get a belt. It's kind of a good feeling. And then it's like, but if I wouldn't eaten those carbs that night, I would. And I'm like, no, Darlene, you can't do that. So this morning I got out the capris. Now these are the capris I bought like a couple of years ago and have never been able to get in them. And the last time I tried them on, I wasn't able. The last time I tried them on, I kind of got them between like my hips and my waist. So I'm like, okay, let's see what the progress is. So I put them, they're still tight as anything in the legs. And I pulled them up and I could like get them up to my waist. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna zipper them. And then I said, let's see what I look like. So I looked in the mirror and I said, whoo, you got a long ways to go, girl. But I didn't like beat myself up about it. I'm like, I can do this. Like, I've already made progress. I'm enjoying food. And that was one of the things like last night. Like, sometimes I reflect, sometimes I want to write down what I ate. I just want to get to bed. But I can't go to bed until I write it down. So that's kind of like my new normal routine. So the 5 changes, I have more energy. I feel so much better. I'm sleeping better at night. Like, I'm waking up. Like, it is, sometimes I'm a little bit tired. and I will lay down and have a little nap or something, but it's not like what it used to be. I am getting older. I'm going through menopause and all that. My body's tired. Give myself a little bit of, you know, give myself a little bit of grace, you know what I mean? Like I'm not Wonder Woman. My pants are looser. That honestly feels really good. I just don't have the brain fog that I did before. It feels really good. Like I can remember everything, like appointments. I'm not having to look at my date book and calendar. Like I'm pretty much, okay, this is what I have this week. I'm not like double checking it. Like I'm confident. That feels really great. I just feel better. I feel like happy, more confident, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, everybody around me, like my friends, my family, everything's like going great. It was me, you know, it's like that tale, I'm the problem, it's me. But it's just one of those things that I was trying to deal with in silence and keep it to myself. But that's part of this whole journey about being able to share it with this little community. It really does help me. And the biggest one, food is fuel. And I think that's what my advice to you is, figuring out what your starting point is. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. What are your priorities? If you work shift work, if you do a lot of other things, like obviously that's going to look a little bit different. I try not to eat after dinner. Like I really try not to. I try not to drink after 6 o'clock so I'm not up all night in the bathroom. And I'm just trying to do small changes that are sustainable. Like we had lunch out on the weekend. Like we had pizza Friday night. I made homemade pizza and I froze one dough and I ate 2 slices of pizza with a salad. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what we're having this Friday night, but tonight for dinner I have that other pork tenderloin that was left, and I'm gonna cut it up and do like pulled pork. Because I have tortillas, so for our son I'll do tortillas and sweet potato fries for him. But I think for myself I'll just do the shredded pork because there's some stuffing left. I'll probably do that and the green beans, and I think that would be good for lunch or for dinner. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that sounds really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to spoil my appetite. I'm like, oh, I'm not really looking forward to dinner. You know, I should have something now and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it's like really the whole head game and mental thing. So that is what I ate today. A little recap, just kind of talking through. I do find that this really helps me because honestly, it's just something I kind of do every day. And I just find like I can almost sense like my body, I can read it now, like, okay, like dinner is happening. I'm like, oh, you know, dinner was really good. I'm stuffed. And other nights I'm like, I don't think I ate enough. So I'm really like taking those cues from my body, seeing how I feel, and go from there. And like I said, as I start doing more activities, possibly joining the gym, I don't know, we'll take that as it comes and everything. Like I might need to change out protein or all that other stuff, but as always, we're just going to take it one day at a time. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm trying not to have like my emails and everything in here because I want to be honest, like you guys know, if you've watched me for a while, I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to work with companies and all that. I am not doing this to have like all of these like protein things and everything sent to me. I want to be able to purchase them with my own money. I want to give you an honest review. This is like the perfect little part-time job that's perfect for me, separate from everything else that's going on in my life. And I make my revenue from ads. So if you want to watch them, you can. And if not, that's okay. You can skip them too. Just being honest with all of you. So I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day. Please take care of yourself. And you know, if you're going through something, whether it's food or anything else, the first thing you have to do is admit that there's a problem and kind of go from there and do what is the best thing for you. And that's your starting point. So I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.